Today we have Olympic gold medalist in the 100-meter race, Jeanette Bolden. How are you, Jeanette?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Good. So, Jeanette, tell us a little bit about the John Will Max team that you just joined as far as becoming a better public speaker and how it's contributed to your Toastmasters speaking.
In February, I became a certified public trainer, coach, and speaker with the John Maxwell team. I enjoy it. I love it. It was thousands of people that came to Orlando to be certified, and you do a workshop over 4 days. You listen to different topics, different speakers. You play different games. It was phenomenal. You meet so many different people from around the world. And I got an insight of who John Maxwell is. He's written over 200 books, from how to influence people. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. 15 laws of leadership and growth, and just it's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal individual.
Now, what are some of the things that you learned through John Maxwell that you haven't learned through Toastmasters? Like before the podcast, you were mentioning to me, which is something that I picked up on intuitively, but I really did not know how to articulate it, and that was conversating. When you're speaking, you should speak as if you're conversating with people as opposed to speaking at or to people.
One thing I learned with the John Maxwell team is John Maxwell is a great communicator.
Right.
And when you listen to him, he looks like he's just your best friend just talking to you. And I noticed from listening to all the top public speakers, they're just having a conversation. They're just talking to you. And that's really what draws you in. No one really likes, and they don't really connect with individuals that are giving them a speech. But we as individuals connect with people that we feel are connecting with us. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from not just John Maxwell, but Lisa Nichols and Les Brown, just all the top speakers. They just have a conversation. They feel like they're like your best friend. And one thing I saw with John Maxwell, he said it was just kind of by accident. He was just kind of tired of doing a lot of his public speaking, and the lady said, "Would you like to sit down?" And he just grabbed a stool, and he just talked. He just lectured from a stool, just sitting there, and the audience loved it. And that's what I've learned. So I try to incorporate that here in Toastmasters. I'm a lot more comfortable than I was in the very beginning, and I just try to talk from. That's another thing I learned is talking from the heart. I think we as individuals, we don't want to expose our personality and our side, of ourselves. We're like, well, people are not really interested in what we're talking about. But people are interested in it, What do you think?
I agree. I think, that's especially why things like YouTube and podcasting have been taking off, because it gives you a longer format where you can really get to know that person and get in depth on whatever topics they're talking about, whereas opposed to TV, it's a lot more politically correct, for lack of a better term, whereas you got to stay within a certain structure. You cannot show your personality or your side if it doesn't fit within the structure of professionalism as defined on TV. And I think a lot of people don't like that. It just doesn't come across genuine, and people connect to it better when it is genuine. I don't know what it is about it. It's just something intuitively that connects with it. And what you told me earlier is just you explaining it in words. Like, that's what it is. It's conversating with people as opposed to I'm going to deliver a speech to you. It's just a different mindset in how you talk to people.
You're exactly right. I think, and as you said with that example with TV, I think that if you just remember way back when reality TV became so popular, and I'm thinking, why is it so popular? Because it's real life.
Right.
You might be going through something in California and knows that somebody's going through the same thing in Florida and New York and Texas and the Midwest. And it's all related. And I think that's why reality TV has taken off. Now you're seeing, people just sitting down having a conversation like you're seeing on YouTube and podcasts.
Yeah. And what do you think is going to happen as far as, TV goes? Do you think it's going to be destroyed compared to YouTube and podcasting? Do you think it's going to lose out on the realm of interaction? Because already news channels are showing significantly less viewers compared to just channels like on YouTube about news.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot more viewers. Like, for example, one podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, which is just huge, gets I don't know, maybe like 10 times more views than CNN or Fox News does. It's crazy. But tell me a little bit about your goals and what you want to do with public speaking. Why did you join Toastmasters in the first place? Why did you decide you wanted to add the John Maxwell team to that?
I've always known about Toastmasters. I knew about John Maxwell's books, but not his university or platform to be a certified speaker. I've always been interested in motivating people. As an athletic coach, as a track and field coach, that's what you do. You do your best to motivate your athletes and people around you, and to bring out the best in them, to help believe in them when they don't even believe in themselves. Help to motivate, to mold, to structure them in a way to help them achieve their goals. And I've always been a very optimistic person, and that probably comes from my Christian background, being brought up in the faith, my parents, my whole family, my extended family. That's just how we are. My aunt is 96, and you walk into the house, she has Bibles everywhere. My other aunt is 86, and everybody, friends of our family, and people come, can you ask your aunt to pray for me? Can you ask your aunt to do this for me? And even if they're not believers, they say, have your aunt still plays? Yeah, they have her to pray for me. So just that optimism and understanding, to have that faith that everything's going to be okay. I've always been like that. So now, and now with Toastmasters, I've always heard of it. It's been around forever, but it has allowed me to say, it's okay to speak about this and speak about that and be a little bit more structured. I've learned the structured side of speaking, and to take that structure and put it with my personality. And then with John Maxwell, now I put on top of the structure, I put a certification there, and be around a lot of like-minded people and say, and read a lot of different books. It's great. I love it. I love influencing people.
Do you feel like the certification is necessary? I mean, for your role, you kind of already have a certification, which is being an Olympic gold medalist. That in of itself is motivational and can count as that. But for somebody else who, maybe doesn't have any credentials under them, I feel like the certification is necessary in order to at least get your foot in the door. Would you agree or disagree?
I think it opens up a world for you that you may not know. And that's what it's done. I mean, I'm thinking, why do you need certification? But almost everyone has a university, and everyone has a certification along with what they do. And it just gives credibility, but it also is a learning tool. And as much as I've prior to coming here, I have spoken in front of 250, 500 people before.
Yeah.
And so I think someone in Toastmasters said, Jeanette, do you ever get nervous? I don't feel that nervous, except when I come here.
I don't get that. How can you feel nervous in Toastmasters, which is in front of maybe 20 people at the most, but you've spoken in front of 250 people before?
I think, and I wonder, that's kind of weird. I think because I know that everyone here is listening to me to learn something, but also to help me grow.
Right, to critique you as well.
Critique
yeah.
me.
Okay.
And it's just understanding that, okay, wow, I'm being looked at under a microphone, Microscope, excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I think that's what it is, knowing that I'm going to be judged and critiqued, but in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. Our club is very positive.
Do you still get nervous if you go up now? How many speeches have you done for Toastmasters?
I've only done 3.
Okay.
I've only done 3 because I'm getting ready to segue into pathways, and I don't want to continue to go with the Competent Communicator book. I just want to go ahead and segue and keep that going. I've only done 3, and I was nervous. My icebreaker, which was really weird because that was only about myself. And my second speech, I was nervous about the bakery. My third speech, when I gave the quote about Walt Disney's, what type of person are you, when I gave were you the 3 different personalities?
I'm not sure if I know I was here for your first icebreaker, which was really interesting. I was not here for your bakery speech. And the third one, tell me a little bit more details about it. I'll see if I was there for it.
It was, the topic was which type are you? And I was saying that, a quote from Walt Disney saying that there are 3 types of people. Mm-hmm. Well enhancers, well enhancers, lawnmowers.
How am I supposed to remember it if you didn't?
Actually, it was life enhancers, well poisoners.
Okay.
And lawnmowers.
No, I was not here for the speech. Tell me a little bit about it.
I knew you were going to say that.
Tell me the background. I mean, well, now you got me curious. You know.
Am I going to do after me? Are you?
You're pretty much going to have to do speech 2 and speech 3 on this podcast.
I was talking about Walt Disney's quote was saying that there's 3 types of people. Life enhancers, well poisoners, and lawnmowers. And I was talking about well poisoners are people that just are discouragers. They are Debbie Downers. They do everything to discourage you. They don't try to influence you. They don't try to help you at all in anything. They're very critical in everything that you do. They are well poisoners. The second type of individuals are lawnmowers. People that are so self-absorbed, they just kind of mow their own lawn. They stay in their own cubbyhole. They don't influence you. They don't try to discourage you, but they don't try to help you either. They don't try to enhance your life. They don't give you any great advice. They just kind of are okay right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Those are the lawnmowers. They just stay with their own lawn. And then there's the life enhancers, people that give you positive feedback, try to influence your life, try to enhance your life. Those are the individuals that, and I gave an example of when you walk into different restaurants and different places now, what's the first thing they do? They greet you now. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to Wawa. Can I help you today? This is a gas station. They serve food, but they always say, how you doing? You walk into Moe's. Hi, it's a great day at Moe's. How you doing? And the best example I can give is walking into Chick-fil-A. They greet you, and then at the end, as soon as they give you your meal, you say, hey, thank you. They say, my pleasure. And you never think about that. But if you're having a bad day and you walk into a Chick-fil-A and somebody says, hey, my pleasure, that just makes you smile. Opposed to somebody just giving you food and you're leaving. Yeah. So those are the different things. You're going to have me do another speech to get that one again. But yeah, that was, in essence, that's what it was.
Now, which one are you?
I try to be. Honestly, I really try to be with my optimistic personality a well enhancer. I really do. I try to enhance individuals' life. Now, as a hard track coach, I probably was a more poisoner at times when you have to kind of, look, you can't do it like this, you have to do it like that, but right. I try to be the life enhancer after that. I've never been a lawnmower. I'll either give you, look, you need to do a little bit better here, but more, look, you can do this a different way. Try to enhance your life. Hey, you did really well. I mean, a couple of people in here that are doing their icebreakers. I'm like, you really did a great job. You're a little nervous, but that was great. Your personality, you really tried to enhance individuals' life. I don't think it adds anything to anyone's life trying to discourage them.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
Down. I mean, that.
People only do that for their own ego to build themselves up if they feel insecure. But
have you ever been around well poisoners?
Here and there. I don't think necessarily that they're always in that state of being a well poisoner, but at times maybe jealousy will spark, and that's when they poison the well. So it strikes here and there, but I don't think it's ever like a consistent. Otherwise, I wouldn't really keep that person around if I had the choice not to. Hopefully, but I think I'm kind of more stuck in the middle. I'm like
you're a lawnmower.
I am a lawnmower.
Really?
I like to do my thing, keep in my lane, and I really. It's selfish and cruel to say, but I really don't care about other people's problems, although I try to. I notice that, and I try to be the fruitful well-bearer and help people grow. But it's something you have to be very mindful of because it does not come naturally to me.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I would never have picked that.
Yeah.
It's wow.
Well, I'm also not naturally extroverted either. I'm a huge introvert. I'd rather do my own thing, not be around other people. But you can learn to bend and mold and slowly become other things, even though it's not what you naturally want to do.
So how are you into Toastmasters and you're such an introvert?
Well, what got me out of being an introvert was real estate. So I got my license, and for that, I had to door knock and cold call. And I was door knocking on like 200 doors a day and cold calling and setting appointments. And you get cursed at and just terrible. Like it's horrible, super frightening. Never wanted to do it. But that pushed me so far out of my shell and made me a much better communicator. So I'm door knocking, I'm freestyling on the door half these times. Same with the cold calling, practicing these scripts an hour every single day, every morning. So that really helped me become a better communicator, number one. And then number two, going out there and getting rejected helped me overcome that fear. So then when I came to Toastmasters, which was originally like, okay, let me try to network, then I saw like, okay, well, these people are fun and I'm actually pretty good at this. And I like things that I'm good at. And I wouldn't have been good at it without real estate. So it pushed me out of your shell. So that would be the honest answer, is you have to find something. If you want to go from, like, let's say, introvert to an extrovert, you have to find something that's going to push you outside of your comfort zone, but that has a reward enough for you to do it. So I could say, yeah, real estate would be a great thing to go do. But if you don't like real estate or see any benefit to it, like, you're not going to be motivated to get up and go door knock and cold call. It's got to be, I want to make X amount of money a year, I want to make six figures, which is like my motivation. I was all hyped up about it, and that got me through. You know what, this does suck, but I want that money, and I'm going after it, and that's what got me up. So if that's not your thing, then you have to find something else that motivates you. Maybe it's, okay, I want that girl, or I want that guy, and I want that perfect marriage, and I don't want to let this slip up, and you have to really want it so bad that you're going to go and approach them and ask them for their number or talk to them, and you're not going to let it slip. So you got to find what it is that motivates you, and then face that fear and go after it. So that's how I've transformed from introvert to extrovert.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I've only seen this side of you. I didn't see that other side.
Yeah. I didn't like the other side. It would eat me up too. I don't like when there's things on me where when I get that feeling like, I'm scared to do that, and I know I shouldn't be. Right? There's some things that you should be scared to do, like stick your head in a side of an alligator's mouth. Like, there's no reward you can get from that, only pain. But if it's other things, maybe rejection or learning a new skill or learning to do a backflip in gymnastics, like, okay, it's scary, but maybe there's a reward that's worth it for you in there. And then if you really think it's worth it for you, then you need to go face that fear. It's not the same for everyone.
That's true.
But I want to get back onto you. Tell me a little bit about, who do you want to motivate? Like, why do you want to be a motivational speaker? Who is your audience, and who are you trying to change? And what is the substance or the topic that you want to communicate to people?
The one thing I really want to communicate to people is that I think as individuals, we beat ourselves up too much. There's so many people that live in the past mistakes, past regrets, and it really eats you up as an individual. It could be, you got laid off from your job and all of a sudden you blame yourself. It could be you got fired from your job. You may have made a mistake, something happened, and you blame yourself. It could be, okay, my kids are doing this and this and that. I must be a bad parent.
Yeah.
It could be a failed relationship. But I think we as individuals, it's really hard for us to forgive ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to feel down on yourself and that misery love company. It's a lot easier to live like that. You don't want to stay in that frame of mind. It's harder to be optimistic, especially when things around you aren't going so well. I remember looking at a story. It was a famous, she wasn't that famous. It was just an athlete. And she talked about some things she did in her past. And later on in life, she was in an abusive relationship. And she felt as if she deserved to be in that relationship. She did not deserve to be happy. I'm like, why? Because she made some mistakes in the past, and now your past has now influenced your future, and now the world will never see how beautiful you are because you live in this abusive relationship, and you think that it's okay. I think sometimes we think, oh, well, I deserve it. We don't deserve that. Mm-hmm. And I want people to understand that you're created in God's beauty. You got to understand that you're on this earth to do something positive, irregardless of the things that you've done. I mean, of course, there's some things that you're going to regret, of course. But for the most part, if your kids go to a store and steal an iPhone, does that mean you're a bad parent? Does that mean something happened? if you are married and all of a sudden your marriage is coming to end, does that mean that something happened? There's something you might have to work on, but does that mean you don't deserve to be happy again? I think that, and then I think that we all are trying to fill a void. That's why motivational speakers are on the rise. It's so many motivational speakers and inspirational speakers, and they have thousands and thousands of dollars in these halls, and these places are full of people going there listening. But does it really stick?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get
really
onto that. Like,
stick?
what makes a motivational speaker stick? You know, what is the difference from somebody who goes up and says, you can do it, and it's like, sounds good in the moment, but it really doesn't change your life, to the one where you go home and it's like, okay, I'm writing this action plan out and I'm going to follow through with it, and it actually changed my life. Did John Maxwell, do they teach you, like, what's the difference, or is that something you're still learning?
Both. Something I'm still learning, but aside from John Maxwell, it has to be like my new company that I just registered. It's called Motivation That Sticks. So no, you can't take it. It's called Motivation That Sticks, and it's just exactly what you just said.
Right.
Why are you going to come to me and listen to me and then just go home? What am I going to say to make you go home and now write down those action plans? It has to be something that I tug at your heartstrings. It has to be something that I say something to you like, wow, I could do that. I can go out there and knock on a bunch of doors to get my real estate license up. I can do this. I can afford to have 50 people reject me and slam the door in my face, because there's going to be one person that's going to say, oh, okay, let me listen to you about this particular real estate.
Right.
So it's those things that we have to get over, and I learned that from just being in athletics. I mean, I've been in track and field, but my son, when he was younger, he played flag football. I was banned from the games.
Really? What happened?
Mommy, you can't come to the game anymore.
He told you not to. Okay.
My husband, you cannot come to these games anymore. Referees would look at me like, really? Why is this lady yelling and screaming? Because I understand the game, and that isn't fair.
Right.
I understand sports. My husband and I've been married for 30 years, 29 and a half. But we dated for 10 years. So on Sundays after church, hanging out, we would watch football. We just would watch football. He taught me, I taught him. He taught me a lot bit more, but I'm just going to give him credit there. But basketball, I mean, I'm from L.A., Laker fan, LeBron, come on now, that's fantastic. But I understand sports, but I look at it from a coaching side. Why is this coach so much more successful than this coach? How has this coach how has Belichick been able to do what he's done with the Patriots for year after year after year after year? And he doesn't on the surface look like a very warm guy, but his players play for him. Why is that? Why was Phil Jackson so phenomenal in Chicago and then in Los Angeles? So I look at things like that.
What is it? Do you have the answer?
Yes and no.
Tell us what you got for now. We'll build off of it.
For right now, there's a connection that each and every coach has with their athletes. Sable at Alabama. There's a connection. There's something that those particular coaches and coaches in general are pulling from their athletes that the population, that everyone should listen to and understand. It's about connecting. It's about me understanding your plight and what you want to do and help you achieve that goal. And you have to understand that I have your best interest at heart. Not just saying it just so this, just so that. I'm saying it because I truly, honestly believe in your abilities. And if you believe that I believe in you, then you might listen a little bit.
Do you feel like coaching really helped you as an athlete and with making it to the Olympics? Like, tell us your story from growing up as desiring to go to the Olympics. Was that your dream? Or tell us just how that happened and how that manifested.
So I'm giving you my life story?
Yes.
being born with asthma and with a club foot, the Olympics was the furthest thing from my mind. My mind was simply just trying to breathe and just understand. I just want to be like everybody else because it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal to miss school all the time. And my friends knew. I have a friend to this day. If I go over her house, she'll say, "How you doing? Look like your allergies are bothering you, like you wheezing a little bit." She knows exactly. To this day. And taken out of my home in Compton, California, and placed in an asthmatic home really hit me in the face like, wow, something is really, really wrong with me. And carrying that feeling like, well, I'm not normal, I'm not like everybody else, was bothersome. And the most normal thing to do for kids is to go outside and play. Yeah. Just to go outside and have fun. I mean, now it's, in the house watching video games, but that's the most normal thing to do. Mm-hmm. Get up and your friends call you, let's go to the mall, let's do this. I couldn't do that. That's normal. Yeah. But I couldn't do that. Having barbecues with the family and everybody coming over. Well, remember, Jeanette's allergic to this, Jeanette's allergic to that. And, everybody running around playing, I had to be in the house. I can hang out for a little while, but now your ass is bothering you, go in the house. Those are the things I remember. And then I was placed in this asthmatic home for 6 months. It was like, wow. But that's when I learned that asthma wasn't a handicap. That's when I learned I was normal because everybody else there was just like me. Mm-hmm. And we went to a regular school. We had to walk a certain path because we were the asthma kids. I didn't really like that. But that was just because if we did have an asthma attack or something, we can go to somebody's house.
Right. Makes sense.
So, but then when I got to the school, they did this thing called President's Challenge of Physical Fitness. And everyone in the school...
Yeah, we had those too.
Yeah. So, but everybody got to do it.
Yeah.
And they didn't discriminate, like, these are asthma kids, you guys can't do it. Everyone was doing it. And I was killing it. I could do the push-ups. I think we had to run 50 yards or something. I was killing it. My friends was like, wow. Is that girl, is she the one with the asthma home? And then I was like, wow, this is, I could do this. I have asthma, but I could do this like everybody else. It wasn't a problem. And so I took that when I came back to my home in Compton, and I went to a park. My sister wanted to join the local park track and field team. I asked the coach, could I join, but I have asthma. He said, if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. Campanella Park, Compton, California. And I just started running track, and I got better at it. And then everyone knew from my time at the park in the summer when I was in middle school, that's the fast girl. So now I wasn't the asthma girl. I was the fast girl. There was a young man, a little boy, took my asthma inhaler. I'm in the, 4th grade? And took it and started spraying it. And I was devastated. Oh my God, that's my asthma pump. I would be pissed. Oh my God, I was too afraid to be pissed. I was like, oh my God. But then it happened to me again. When I was in middle school, I was running and you put an inhaler in your socket, it pops out and the little boy spraying it. Didn't even bother me. Give me my inhaler. Because I knew that I was going to be okay. Right, you're a little more confident. I'm a lot more confident. And it just went from there. Do you still have asthma? I still have asthma. They kept telling me I was going to grow out of it, but at 58, not yet. But that was really what it is, who started my path through track and field and coaches and going. Success made me more determined, and more determined made me work harder. Yeah. But it was more of, I don't think I would have been the athlete I was if I did not have asthma. Asthma pushed me, like, I could really do this, and just because I have asthma, it's not going to stop me, and you don't have asthma, and I've accomplished more than you have. And going to the Olympics, I took 4th in the 100 meters, and I was devastated. And I remember talking to my dad, crying, and he was like, do you know everything you've gone through? You're the 4th fastest in the world. Stop crying and come home. I was like, okay. And then a week later, we won the gold medal in the relay. And it was a feeling of, wow, I've finally done it. And like I said, I don't think I would have been able to accomplish as much as I have in my life if I not had asthma.
Yeah, it sounds like asthma was that motivator for you, really, because if you stopped, then it would have been like, well, asthma, and you really just didn't want to let that be the thing that holds you back. It's like, nope, I don't care. This isn't going to hold me back. And I think that has a lot to do with, like you were saying earlier, going back to how people blame themselves and put things on themselves and, you know, ridicule themselves when it's not always their fault.
Right.
I think it comes down to a fine line of, so let's say you have some sort of problem, you know, from asthma, and normally you beat yourself up and you're going to tell yourself you're not normal or whatever it is, or that, let's say you have insomnia and you're going to say, okay, well, I don't deserve to be happy because of this. It's like, well, everyone has, you know, a different problem on some level. And it's really, you're going to have to choose, because even if you did solve that problem, another one would come up. And so if you're just saying you're going to wait to be happy or feel good about yourself when all the problems go away, that's not going to happen. And if it does, it's not going to stay around for very long.
Yeah, you're right about that. You hit the nail on the head of that one.
Yeah. But tell us a little bit now of what you're doing, the bakery and public speaking. So what is the bakery and how does that play a role into this?
I'm third generation baker, and our bakery is called 27th Street Bakery in Los Angeles, California. And it was handed down to me from my grandparents. So my grandparents from Sweetport, Louisiana, and when they came to Los Angeles, it started as a restaurant and moved. But the famous part of the restaurant was my grandmother's desserts and her tea cakes, her sweet potato pies. My grandfather was famous for his lemon meringue pies, killing lemon meringue, apple pies, peach pies. And the restaurant kind of folded, but the bakery was still there. And everybody would come from everywhere for the restaurant and the bakery. And it just evolved from the restaurant to the bakery, and then more specializing in sweet potato pies, which is a Southern-style dessert. And my mother and my brother took over in 1980. And I've always worked there. That's just your family's business. As you're young, you just learn to, well, that's what you did on the weekends. That's what you did during the week. Right. You just worked at the bakery. It wasn't a big deal. You just knew how to do it. I mean, I think your family has a business, right?
Yeah, restaurant business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What type of food?
We serve Italian food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pasta, fish, chicken, you know, all your different Italian meals. My dad's from Italy, so he wanted to bring the culture down here.
Where's it located?
So he has 2 down in South Florida and then 1 in North Carolina, which is the one he's at right now.
Okay,
that
great.
That one does the best. Yeah, but no, restaurant business is not something that I'd want to get into after, you know, working in. I could only do so many roles as a kid growing up. You know, I can't be a waiter. You know, I'm not old enough. Cooking, maybe not the best thing to put a 13-year-old or 14-year-old chef back there. So I was busting tables, but still just, I learned a lot, but I learned also how hard my dad works in the restaurant business, and it's got to be something that you love to do if you want to be there 24/7.
You do have to have a love for it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, yeah, my brother and my mother passed away. My husband took over the bakery, the day-to-day operations, but I've always come in and out, and it's my sister and I run the bakery in terms of the delivering in the product. Like I said, my husband does the day-to-day, and it's a family-owned business. And next year, I have cousins, almost everyone there are related.
Yeah. So you decided to keep it going and put your own spin on with the bakery.
Put my own spin on it. Have a sweet potato pecan pie, which we didn't have before.
You need to bring those in the Toastmasters.
I do. And when I go home, I'll make sure I bring some product.
Yeah.
And so just putting a spin on different things, different cakes. My uncle makes the cakes. We're going to be coming out with some cookies at the end of the year. That's kind of one of the reasons why I got to go back to L.A. And sweet potato cheesecake. We are almost ready to launch that. So I enjoy it, the interaction with people, and just people that have come and just say, I remember your grandparents, I remember your mom, I remember when you were young. Just the joy in their face just coming in. And it's fun working there and just seeing when people appreciate what you're doing there.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely appreciate you here at Toastmasters, and I know everyone will appreciate you as a public speaker and in anything that you do. Thank you, Jeanette, for being a part of this podcast, and we'll hopefully talk again soon.
Thank you very much.